Part 58. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 596. The rain lasted for most of the day, and the temperature dropped slightly. There are almost no people riding bicycles on the road. Occasionally, you can still see a few private cars, some coming out of the snow area, and some continuing along the road. Xiao, are you feeling okay? Do you have any dizziness or headache? Yang Yu poured a cup of hot water for Yang Xiao. It may not be easy to breathe here, the air is a bit thin. I feel, not bad. I do radio gymnastics every day in school, as well as morning jogging and recess. There are also 2 physical education classes a week, and there are extracurricular activities in the afternoon. There is no problem now. Yang Xiao jumped on the spot. For a moment, I felt great. Awesome, Wu Yuqian gave a thumbs up. In high school, there was indeed a lot of exercise. Brother, what about you, are you okay? Yang Yu stopped pouring water for a moment, raised his head and boasted, of course it's okay. Brother Wu Yuqian and I have experienced the sea. This mere plateau can't help me. Cut. Yang Xiao was disdainful for a moment and then quickly felt relieved. It would be bad if Brother Yang Yu had altitude sickness. Without Brother Yang Yu, Yang Xiao didn't know if he could continue walking on this road to the Potala Palace. Little Dream Demon, Tijipai, do you feel any discomfort? Yang Yu first raised his head and asked the Little Dream Demon, then turned Tijipai in his arms to face him, and then asked. Poppy. There's nothing wrong with Dreamcatcher and Tijipai, both of them are in great shape. Mini Dragon, you. Gilug gilug gilug. What sound? Just as Yang Yu was about to ask the Mini Dragon, he heard a sound of stomach growling. Mum. The Mini Dragon lowered its head, its big white nose arched on its white belly that was gurgling, and then raised its head, looking pitifully in the direction of Yang Yu. Nothing else is a problem, it's just that the stomach is not full, which is a problem. Yang Yu closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He could see his whole body rising and falling, and then he calmed down. The mini dragon's appetite has begun to increase now, but its body shape is still so slender. Thinking of the skin that the mini dragon sheds these days, if compared with the small coins that the mini dragon eats, it seems that the former is more valuable. If you really want to calculate it carefully, feeding mini dragons is still a business that is sure to make a profit without losing any money. But the problem is, your stomach is growling again so soon? Yang Yu remembered that he seemed to have fed him a lot of energy cubes along the way, right? Come on, let my milk can supply moo milk. By the way, make a video, Wu Yuqian said with a smile. Video? What video? Yang Yu and Yang Xiao were both stunned. They saw Wu Yuqian picking up his mobile phone and dialing the WeChat video chat. Grandma, let Kentaro answer the video call. Hey. You brat, you took the milk can away by yourself and left Kentaro here. When such a good and strong Kentaro runs away with someone else's milk can, then who am I to explain to you? How dare it? Wu Yuqian's eyes widened and he raised his voice. Kentaro, Milk Tank is here to video chat with you. Grandma's voice was cheerful. Moo. Boom 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 boom. After a while, there was a wild sound of galloping cow hooves in the video, and in the video on the other side of the phone screen, Kentaro appeared. Kentaro instantly saw the smiling villain Wu Yuqian in the video, and the dear milk jug beside him. Moo. Milk Tank looked at Kentaro's shadow in the video and gave a friendly call. Looking at such a weird video chat, Yang Yu and Yang Xiao looked at each other. This kind of operation is indeed a bit of a bug. As expected of senior brother Qian. Milkkin and Kentaro talked on the phone for a while. I have to say that it was a bit like a woman on a business trip telling her husband at home. Although the voice was moo moo, you could also feel the sincerity in the tone of her voice. Sincerely. Kentaro, take good care of my prairie at home. When I finish helping you, I will come to pick you up. Moo. Wu Yukin hung up the video call. Hey, Kentaro at home turned into a bison as soon as he returned to the grassland. The dark circles under my eyes were all caused by him. Wu Yukin was still smiling when he spoke. However, Yang Yu and Yang Xiao still heard a very ferocious tone from Wu Yukin's tone, and they quickly nodded in confusion. Sure enough, sometimes the calmer the person is, the more terrifying it is when he gets angry. Kentaro, it's so miserable. The little episodes during the journey made this trip to Tibet less boring and more fun. The joyful mood of Yang Yu and the others gave Lawless an atmosphere of stability and peace. Although there were many difficulties along the way, especially Lawless's own physical condition, this joy from the trainer, the power of Lawless, helps Lawless face the difficulties and obstacles ahead. Stop and go. Every time Lawless held the super crystal in his arms and covered his chest, relying on himself to cope with the pain in his body, Yang Yu, Yang Xiao, Wu Yukin, as well as Little Dream Demon, Tijipai, Mini Dragon, including Dede together with the Salted Fish King and the others, they would all stop and wait. Waiting for a super flower that has been beaten by wind and rain, with petals falling off, but is ready to bloom again, waiting for it to bloom again after being reborn. Lawless slowly raised his head. Under that green hair, those red eyes have an absolutely unyielding heart. It goes on and on. There is still so much beauty in this world worth loving. It will definitely keep going. A big black balloon followed Lawless quietly. Ghost Stone still hasn't woken up from his slumber. However, Dede discovered that the weak life energy from before was like a spark of fire, gradually spreading out in Ghost Stone's body. The fire of life energy, no matter how weak it was like a falling fire. There, the fire is endless. Ghost Stone, can't sharing the pain satisfy your desire? What is eternity in the elf world? Under the dull golden conch cap, little Reggie Locke looked deeply into his eyes. Even though its heart was made of stone, he felt extremely shocked at this moment. Even God is not eternal. Share the pain, a life contract. In the elven world, only love and being loved are eternal. If this were not the case, there would be no white Jengar in this elf world. Continue to save the manuscript. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Shao. Chapter 597. This is the 8th day of our trip to Tibet. There are only 2 days left until high school starts. After going through this 8-day journey, Yang Xiao saw mountains one after another and walked on winding roads one after another. Super Gym leader Lanziken's previous reminder still lingers in his ears, emerging from his memory from time to time. Brother, how long do we have until we get to the Potala Palace? Yang Xiao hung his head for a while and walked a bit of a steep road, feeling a little tired. Come on, when we climb over this mountain and look out from the highest point here, we can see the Potala Palace in front of us. Yang Yu wiped the sweat from his forehead. Today's sun is a bit hot. Phew, I haven't walked such a long way for a long time, phew. After persisting for so many days, I feel like I'm losing weight. Wu Yukin gently pulled his collar back and forth, all covered with sweat. With the emergence of elves that can replace walking, whether it is riding and running on land, flying in the air, or floating in the water, it has made people's travel much more convenient in life. However, what Wu Yukin said was correct. The trainer's physical fitness should not be ignored as the elf's strength increases. It is the best performance on the Tibetan plateau. Yang Yu's physical condition is also thanks to the gravity field training he received from little Reggie Locke every day during his time on the central island. This strong characteristic effect allows him to persist until now with relative ease. Xiao Yu, Ghost Stone, haven't you woken up yet? This was the 3rd day that Ghost Stone fell into a deep sleep. At first, Yang Yu and Wu Yukin didn't pay much attention to it. They both simply believed that Ghost Stone would naturally open his eyes and wake up in a few hours. But later on, The Pia 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 started to slap her in the face like crazy. What kind of move is Ghost Stone mastering that he needs to sleep for so long? Lalu. Every time Larulus took a few steps, he would look back to see if he had lost track of the sleeping Ghost Stone, who was floating like a balloon. It's just that Larulus doesn't know that Ghost Stone's heart is with it. No matter where Larulus goes, Ghost Stone will follow it, and it doesn't require constant attention. Yang Yu, why don't you ask Reggie Locke? With his knowledge, what might he know? Wu Yuqin discovered a very important thing, that is, following Yang Yu, there will always be things that cannot be explained by common sense. Things. The first time was in the Meteor Forest during the national team competition, as if the entire forest was Yang Yu's back garden. The second time, when he rescued the secret realm of elves in the waters of the Chunlin River, Yang Yu showed off the electricity storing Gyarados, the salted fish king, and the last move to save the dam's 100,000 volts. The third time, the 30-day sea journey to the World Center Island was thrilling, and then came the sinking incident on the World Center Island. Now this is the fourth time. Wu Yuqin couldn't tell what was wrong, but he always felt that something big would happen this time. Yang Yu nodded frequently. What senior brother Qian said was reasonable. How could he have forgotten the important living fossil of little Reggie Locke? Turtle, as long as little Reggie Locke hides under the stupid golden conch cap, Yang Yu can easily forget about this thing. Such a god without any sense of existence. Little Reggie Locke, what's going on with Ghost Stone now? Why has he been asleep for so long? Dada sat on the ground with his legs spread, looking up with his big eyes, looking a little dazed. Under the golden conch hat, the hat slowly lifted up, revealing half of little Reggie Locke's body. Lalu. Larulus, who wanted to see Ghost Stone from time to time, also slowly walked over and put his hand on Yang Xiao's trouser leg. He also wanted to hear what happened to Ghost Stone now. Ghost Stone is now motionless, making no faces, and no longer being angry. With such a silent and cold look, he is no longer the Ghost Stone that Larulus knew. Unknowingly, some worries arose in Larulus's heart. No matter what, every day in the past, Ghost Stone would come to it in a very naughty and annoying way. Larulus never tired of it, and couldn't help but stretch out his hand to gather his superpowers and hit him with a snap. On Ghost Stone's face. Every time, Ghost Stone's weird cry of oh 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 dissingings. The skin is so skinny, but it doesn't hold back at all. But Ghost Stone was silent now and kept sleeping with his eyes closed, which made Larulus a little uncomfortable. What happened to it? Little Reggie Locke thought about it for a moment, but his tone was a little suspicious. There are some things that may not work if you say them. The breath was a bit long, and there was a trace of calmness in the air. Little Reggie Locke continued, the current situation of Ghost Stone, I can only say that it is a very amazing ghost elf. What exactly is it doing? The answer should be given after it wakes up. It will tell you by itself. Buddha said, don't say it, don't say it. Yang Yu. Yang Xiao. Wu Yuqin. Little Reggie Locke, you are such a god. What do you say? Buddha said at this time. Oh, your sister. Yang Yu suddenly had the idea of having another real person 1v1 with little Reggie Locke. This time, he even wanted to sing the Great Compassion mantra and directly be saved in the second dimension. At this moment, Wu Yuqin nodded thoughtfully and said, I have heard this before. On the prairie, when I was young, my grandma often said that some things should really be kept in the stomach. If you say it, maybe it really won't work. Seeing that Yang Yu was about to speak, Wu Yuqin quickly stopped him and said, Perhaps the elves' deep sleep is also a sign of evolution? Even if it is not evolution, this is still a good fortune for Ghost Stone. Although it is a bit mysterious to say this, but, this is the fact. Yang Yu calmed down slightly. Indeed it is. There are always some differences between ghost-type elves and other attribute elves, such as the ghost tide that the little dream demon once guided. Only ghost-type elves have the possibility of forming a ghost tide. Leave everything to the elves themselves. Believing in Ghost Stone is just like believing in Larylus now, just like Yang Yu believed in his salted fish king back then. Brother, I believe Ghost Stone can do it. Yang Xiao's eyes were firm. Larue. Larylus raised his hand on the side, and he believed it too. Yang Yu nodded slightly and said in an apologetic tone, I apologize. At this moment, I am a little impatient. Yang Yu, don't be too nervous. Sister Xiao even believes in her own spirit ghost. At this moment, you should believe in Sister Xiao. Look, there is the holy land of superpowers, the Potala Palace. Wu Yuqian patted Yang Yu's shoulder and smiled. There aren't many apologies from Yang Yu. Wu Yuqian thought this was very interesting. At this moment, at the top of the mountain road, Yang Yu and Yang Xiao looked far into the distance. Larylus, Little Dream Demon, Tijipai, Mini Dragon, as well as Dude and Little Reggie Locke all looked straight ahead. A majestic red and white palace, even if you look at it from a distance, you feel extremely exciting. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 598. Lalu. Even though there is still a long way to go from the Potala Palace, the Super Holy Land exudes a superpower into the outside air. Although it is a little weak in the distance, it has great influence on Larylus. A little help. With these days of perseverance, Larylus was also a little tired. In the wind blowing in front of him, the faint super breath soothed his tense nerves. Without the adaptation to the plateau environment along the way, no matter how strong the superpower aura of the superpower Holy Land was, it would not be able to help Larylus relieve the pain in his body. Larylus finally persisted on this path. Sitting on the back of the salted fish king, as he got closer to the super Holy Land, something was wrong with the little dream demon. He stretched out his hand and grasped Yang Yu's hair tightly. Salted fish king, stop in the air now. Yang Yu felt something was wrong. If he wanted to pull out his hair, the little dream demon would pull it out directly, instead of like now, gradually tightening it and trembling a little. Roar. The salted fish king slowly circled in place. Brother, what happened? What happened to the little dream demon? Yang Xiao quickly moved forward and asked. By the way, it's the reason for the Super Holy Land. Here, ghost-type elves are basically not allowed to be summoned. Due to attribute factors, they will be greatly rejected by the superpower Holy Land. In addition to ghost-type, evil-type, and insect-type elves, same thing, I remember that in the Super Holy Land, there are many fighting and fire elves guarding here. Wu Yuqian patted his head and answered quickly. Ghost, evil, and insect are all attributes that can restrain superpowered elves? No wonder. Yang Yu murmured, and then his eyes sharpened immediately. Salted fish king, let's move back first. Roar. The little dream demon slowly loosened its grip on Yang Yu's hair and was lying on her stomach, breathing heavily. The power of rejection from the Super Holy Land made it very uncomfortable. Yang Yu carefully opened his palm, and the little dream demon was lying in his palm like a small dark cloud. Poppy. Tijipai stood on tiptoes and put his little hands on Yang Yu's fingers. He looked at the little dream demon's sister with concern, wanting to reach out and comfort the little dream demon like the little dream demon used to touch its head. Dream sister. Omega. Wu Yuqian said, I came here once before I became a trainer. There were no elves at that time, and I didn't pay attention to these things. Later, after I became a trainer, I basically never came to the Potala Palace. After taking a look at the Potala Palace in front of him, Wu Yuqian turned around and continued, "The Super Holy Land has some regulations. If you want to enter, you have to put the little dream monster into the elf ball. There are also, if they cannot be summoned, the rejection of ghost elves in the Super Holy Land is likely to cause irreversible damage. Then, can Ghost Stone not be allowed in?" Yang Xiao couldn't help but ask. The answer is obvious. However, Ghost Stone is obviously stronger than Little Dream Demon. The rejection of some superpowers just now did not have much impact on it. Ghost Stone is still sleeping. Flying straight from the air to the Potala Palace, at this distance, the Little Dream Demon has already been rejected by the Super Holy Land. Don't think too much. If it really appears in the palace of the Super Holy Land, the consequences will not be something Yang Yu can bear. Affordable. Pokeball. It seems that Yang Yu hasn't put the little dream monster into the elf ball for a long time, right? Little Dream Demon treats Yang Yu a bit like Pai Shen treats Master Ji. The Salty Fish King, Big Beauty, Little Bayo Bayo, and Dude are due to factors such as size, rarity, etc. Sometimes they have to be put away with pokeballs. In a place where there is no restraint and freedom, why doesn't Yang Yu release them all from the elf ball and let them enjoy the vast world of freedom? The Little Dream Demon slowly stood up from Yang Yu's palm, as if he had made a huge decision in his eyes. He looked at Yang Yu very carefully up and down, left and right, from head to toe, and even carefully touched every part of Yang Yu's body. A hair. It's going into the pokeball. If it were still in the past, the little dream monster would not enter the elf ball. This time, I want to help Lolulus reunite her skirt. It was the little dream demon who entered the elf ball voluntarily, but Yang Yu did not let it enter the elf ball. This is voluntary. Let's wait. Ghost Stone hasn't woken up yet. Let's ask first to see if there is any way to take you in without using the elf ball. Yang Yu still did not use the elf ball. It is true that the Super Holy Land has its own rules, but Yang Yu wants to fight for them. Mom, look, there is a big dinosaur there, so big, so big, so big, it's flying there. Oh my God. Mom, are you looking for Grandma? But Grandma didn't come with us to travel. What a big Gyarados. Oh my God, son, let's go quickly, the Gyarados seems to be coming towards us. No, I want to see it, I want to see it. Such a big dragon, what kind of dragon, and there are people sitting behind it, they must be trainers. Mom, I will be such a trainer in the future, riding a big dinosaur. There are many tourists here in the Potala Palace, especially during the summer vacation. Many people come here from all over the country, and some tourists even come from abroad. Yang Yu came with the Salted Fish King. Little Dream Demon, Tijipai, and Mini Dragon all accompanied Yang Xiao. Laralus and Ghost Stone also stayed where they were. Yang Yu arranged to stay there. Take care of. Wu Yuqian also summoned his own Bai Diao to accompany Yang Yu and Xianyu King. Yang Yu didn't mean to offend the Holy Land of superpowers. He was high in the sky, waiting for people to come from the Potala Palace with Wu Yuqian. As expected, monks soon came to the Potala Palace, accompanied by Hu Di, who also rode and performed sculptures, to receive him. However, when the monk's Bai Diao met Wu Yuqian's Bai Diao, there was a hint of fear in his eyes. The two donors are Yang Yu and Wu Rich. Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian looked at each other and were not surprised. The reason why Yang Yu came here on the Salted Fish King was to inform the Super Holy Land of Yang Yu's identity. In the entire country of China, Yang Yu is the only one with such a giant Gyarados. He is the only one with no other semicolon. As for Wu Yuqian, Bai Diao, and Dream-Inducing Taper, who have such royal qualifications, are the standard match for his identity. Super Gym leader Lan Zikan has had contact with our Super Holy Land before. Monk White has been waiting here for a long time. Monk White saluted with one hand and leaned forward slightly. Yang Yu also leaned forward to show respect. The young monk has heard that Donor Yang has the water and superpower elf Slow King, which is enough to prove that Donor Yang is destined to our holy land. Furthermore, I heard that Donor Yang has the ghost elf Menyao. The dream monster is a disciple of the ghost king Jengar of the ghost tower. Donor Yang can bring ghost elves in, but he is not allowed to bring them into the main hall and the super altar, Monk White said slowly. The main hall and the super altar. Yang Yu nodded secretly, remembering these two names in his heart, and breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. It would be nice to be able to bring ghost elves in. Having said that, Gengui Liahe's apprentice, this title is quite honorable. Yang Yu smiled in his heart for a while, and soon, the thoughts in his mind stopped for an instant. Grandma Lin, Lao Hudi, thank you so much. Yang Yuxin felt that the real reason for this was because there was a super Hudi in the meteor forest who had completed super evolution and came into contact with extraordinary power. Meteor forest, meteor lake. Choo choo choo. At the door of the tree house, a small natural finch wearing a leaf hat jumped excitedly. Its master's master is taking it to see the master. I haven't seen master for a long time. Miss him so much. Snap. The door of the treehouse closed, and at the same time, an elf wearing a hat and a mage's robe slowly floated out, and had a long and thick white beard. A bit like Dumbledore. Hooty. Choo choo choo. The next second, the two figures in front of the treehouse disappeared in an instant. Asking for a monthly ticket. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 599. The Little Dream Demon is still very impressive. I originally thought I would go back to the Pokeball and be alone by myself, but now, I don't have to. Master Gengui is great. The Little Dream Demon has decided to go back and buy a lollipop for Master Geng as a reward. Little Dream Demon and Ghost Stone are equivalent to obtaining entry permission to the Super Holy Land. The rich super energy atmosphere in the Holy Land will not cause huge harm to them. Of course, important places such as the main hall and altar are still not allowed to enter. The demon fire red fox here maintains the incense. The elves with both fire and superpowers are one of the most popular types of elves among the monks in the superpower Holy Land. Wu Yuqian had some knowledge and helped Yang Yu as he walked. Explain. At this time, Yang Yu was following behind him, looking around from time to time. With the different scenes of holy places everywhere, Dada couldn't help but open his mouth. Although he didn't make a sound, his heart was definitely wow wow wow. Some were cute and some were dumb. Donor Wu is right. The demon fire red fox is in charge of the incense, Ilurduo and Kulam are in charge of martial arts, Hudi is in charge of respect, the magic wall puppet is in charge of space, and the bronze bell is in charge of the history of our holy land. In the main hall, an eminent monk slowly walked out. Elder, we have been brought here. After the monk wide bowed, he resigned and left. Three of you, come with me, just ask me. Sunian, the elder of the super holy land, nodded slightly. The natural bird super altar where Lolulus condenses the heart of the super skirt, the holy land is already under preparation. The three of you can follow me to the resting place. The journey has been difficult and must have been tiring. Thank you, elder. The elder thought about every look, every movement, every turn, and every step. In the super holy land, there seemed to be a feeling that could make time stand still. The breath was strong and the walking was very solid. Yang Xiao held his breath and did not dare to speak, so he followed closely behind brother Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian. Along the way, Yang Yu saw a lot of Cases. Although these Cases were still very young and a little naughty, and liked to use teleportation to play outside the main hall, they all stopped after seeing the eminent monk Sunian. Greeted respectfully. When some powerful super elves saw Dada, they would also look at him with respect, which made Dada a little embarrassed. You three, take a break for now, enjoy a cup of tea, and wait for the superpower altar to be gradually completed. I will send a few super doctors from the Holy Land to check the physical condition of Lalula's elder. Sunian said methodically, with a voice like it is as calm and elegant as Sanskrit music. Thank you, Yang Yu and the others quickly nodded their thanks. Elder Sunian continued to speak, to Yang donors, I think you should also understand that the Super Energy Gym leader should also explain to you in advance that in order to condense the Super Energy core and overcome the natural altitude sickness in the elf world, is not the most difficult place, but here at the end. Whether Larulus can rely on his own strength to endure the test of the huge energy condensed by the natural bird super altar, all the efforts you have made in the past are for this last step. The elder Sunian didn't say too much anymore. Some things won't work if you talk too much. Monks do not lie. Me? 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 The mini-dragon feels like its stomach is gurgling again. Why hasn't the owner fed it yet? Didn't it hear its stomach growling? The mini-dragon poked its head, looked next to Yang Yu, then ran to Yang Xiao, and finally looked at Wu Yuqian. What was going on with the three of them? They were silent, so scared. It's better to be hungry for a while. If the owner gets angry and hangs it up again, it's no joke. Everything we can do has been done. We have all seen the hard work of Larulus along the way. We have experienced it personally. We have been waiting for this moment when the hearts of the super skirts can be reunited. Too long. Now, Xiao Yu, we have all arrived at the Potala Palace. This is the holy land of superpowers. Yang Yu's voice was calm, really calm. Sunian, the elder of the super holy land, said it right. We have already tried hard to do everything we can do before. The last step left is up to Larulus himself. Such a feeling. It was like the scene in Meteor Lake when I watched Lao Huidi's super evolution. However, Larulus. It's just an elf that has never evolved. Brother, I know, Yang Xiao shouted, and then his voice quickly became quieter. He wanted to speak again, but found that his body was shaking uncontrollably. Yang Xiao inevitably started to worry. Believe Larulus, it will definitely work. Yang Yu had nothing else to say. Come, drink some moo milk, let's adjust to the best condition together. Yang Yu, Sister Xiao, you are really amazing. Wu Yuqian knew in his heart that Larulus, who had lost his skirt, would be in the best condition when he met her. What kind of situation would it be like before arriving at Yang Yu and Yang Xiao? However, with the efforts of Yang Yu and Yang Xiao, Larulus grew up in the positive environment created by the brothers and sisters, stepped out of the shadows, and felt that the elven world was actually so beautiful. It's really good to meet you, he. Come on, the mini-dragon is so hungry that he's almost crying. Come and drink some moo milk. Wu Yuqian tried hard to liven up the somewhat serious atmosphere. Larulus opened his arms, as if he wanted to hug Yang Xiao in his arms, but unfortunately, with his small body and open arms, Yang Xiao held him tightly in his arms. Return to zero. Return to zero, return to zero. The sudden mechanical return to zero sound instantly broke the tense atmosphere, making Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian burst into laughter. The little dream demon tried hard to create a happy atmosphere. After much deliberation, he could only bring out the devil's calculator to add to the fun, but the effect seemed not to be very good. Poppy! 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 Tijapai was jumping left and right, taking out a napkin and shouting cheers like waving a flag. The mini-dragon can't do anything but its stomach gurgling, 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 but these three sounds seemed to have quite a rhythm when put together. Just when the atmosphere was gradually becoming lively, the dull, round ears moved. Yeah! His big, dull eyes flashed with light, and the innocent smile on his face became even more stupid. The Potala Palace is an important hall that is not open to the public. Super Lord who did? Super Holy Land, Eminent monks come to welcome you. Chirp, 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 chirp. A small natural bird poked its head curiously out of the sleeve of Lao Huidi's mage robe. Asking for a monthly ticket. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Shao. Chapter 600. Lao Huidi. Yeah. Yang Yu blinked hard. My god, Yang Yu, did he read it correctly? Choo choo choo. A little natural bird wearing a leaf hat, like a child on a trip, swooped and jumped into Dudu's arms. It arched its head hard and flapped its small wings like crazy, as if it wanted to get in. The same thing happened in my heart. Super, super 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 super. Wu Yuqian felt that his cognition had been hit hard again. The problem with his tongue was secondary, but the more important issue was Yang Yu, who is he? They're not aliens, are they? When Lao Huidi appeared in the lounge specially arranged by the elder Su Nian, the indescribable surprise and the emotion that came from a spring deeply penetrated Yang Yu's heart. Why did Lao Huidi appear here? Oh my god. This is, so, how can I put it, it's incredible. Wu Yuqian originally thought that this time when Yang Yu called him to help, what he saw and heard along the way would definitely not be as big as what happened on the central island of the world. However, now that he saw Super Huidi appear, even in this situation where he came specifically for Yang Yu, he felt that his brain was not enough. It's like this every time, yes, yes, it's indeed like this. The journey with Yang Yu is so abnormal, how can there be a super wild land? For a moment, Wu Yuqian vaguely seemed to grasp something. What does a super-evolved elf mean to the entire elf alliance? Moreover, it is such a permanently super-evolved elf, which is undoubtedly of strategic importance. But here's the problem. The entire elf alliance has not announced the news of the permanent super-evolution of Super Huidi, but now it appears directly like this. Here it is explained. Yang Yu had known about the existence of Super Huidi for a long time, and even had a close relationship with it. Otherwise, how could Super Huidi appear in front of Yang Yu like this? Huidi. The next scene made Wu Yuqian instantly numb. Lao Huidi kindly stretched out his thin hand and stroked Dede's big round head. He squinted his eyes comfortably. He hadn't seen Lao Huidi's master for a long time. He was holding Chirp, Chirp, Chirp in his arms. Xiao Tian was stunned. This was the third generation of the superpower system. What little dream demon likes the most is Lao Huidi's big white beard, which is long and thick. Master Gengui even took little dream demon to pluck it out, although Master Gengui was later shocked by old Huidi. Wu Yuqian watched helplessly as Yang Yu's little dream monster tugged on Super Huidi's beard and showed it to Tijipai. Tijipai nodded seriously, imitating the little dream monster's appearance. I tugged on Super Huidi's big beard, and Super Huidi even felt very happy, not angry at all. Turtle, what is Yang Yu's identity? So cool. Yang Xiao knew Lao Huidi, and had a New Year's Eve dinner with Lao Huidi during the Chinese New Year. However, she did not expect that at this critical point, Lao Huidi would appear here in person. You know, from Jiangdong province to the Potala Palace in western Tibet, it almost spans the east and west sides of the Chinese territory. Lao Huidi, why are you here? Really, it's such a surprise. The nervous mood in Yang Yu's heart was relieved when he saw Lao Huidi. When Lao Huidi appeared at this time, it must be for the sake of Larulas. I didn't expect. I really didn't expect that. Lao Huidi opened his hands and gently supported the naughty little Tijipai with the beard, and his eyes fell softly on Larulus. In fact, the situation of Larulus had already been recorded in Lao Huidi's heart when they first met during the New Year. At the same time, it was also recorded in the hearts of Grandma Lin and Fang Lian, the leader of the water gymnasium. Yang Yu and Yang Xiao have done well enough, with subtle care in daily life, super tower physical therapy, and along the way, there is a supply of milk in milk cans. This is one of the reasons why Lao Huidi is willing to meet Wu Yuqian in person. I will protect Lalulus and condense the skirt. A floating super writing appeared behind Lao Huidi. But I can only play a protective role. Condensing the heart of super skirt. Only by yourself. Trust yourself. Larulas, come on. Lines of superpower handwriting slowly appeared in front of Larula's eyes one after another, and were also seen by Yang Yu, Yang Xiao, and Wu Yuqian. This is what Lao Huidi wanted to express. He wrote it in words to let Yang Yu and the others know. Shocked and moved. Don't know what to say. At this moment, behind old Hu, a spoon lit up, like a paintbrush, drawing a large square frame in mid-air. A magical scene appeared. In this square mirror, the figures of Gran Malin and Fang Lian, the leader of the water gymnasium, appeared. Gran Malin. Master Fang, Yang Yu's eyes lit up. Gran Malin. And Ant Fang. Water gym leader. Also, this old man, I know, is a powerful master of Hangzhou Elf University. Wu Yuqian was severely shocked again, and then became a little confused. Wait a minute. Wait, what do you call, Gran Malin? Ant Fang. Hello, classmate Wu Yuqian. Gran Malin nodded with a smile. Wu Yuqian. Yang Yu, how many secrets do you have? How can a super elf do whatever he wants? This mirror is actually real time. What was shown was not a video. Yang Yu, Yang Xiao, we are in the water system gym. Due to health reasons, I can't come to the Padala Palace. Gran Malin's voice and smile were still so warm and kind. Let's make a long story short. There are some more things to come later. Children. Larulas, come on. Gran Malin stretched out her right hand and made a cheering gesture. Larulas, come on. Behind gym leader Fang Lian, all the trainers stationed in the entire water gymnasium clenched their fists and shouted loudly. Lalu. Lalulus's eyes turned red instantly. Screen switching. Here is Zhangxiang's Indafang cooking school. Yeah, boom. The 5-star hippo chef raised his pot and spatula high to cheer for Larulus. Behind Chef Dai, all Dai, moved in unison, holding pots and spatulas, raising them high. Yeah, boom. In the back, there are a few physiotherapy robots without pots and spatulas, but they have masks and white hats. Yeah, boom. This is the Magic City Super Tower, and I am the Super Gym leader Lanziken. Larulas, come on. Yeah, boom. The Super Tower Idiot King and all the physical therapy idiots unite their hearts for Larulus, come on. Magic City Ghost Tower. Gengui Liahe stared with two big eyes, stretched out his hand, and strongly protested that De Huang did not take him to the Padala Palace. If he had known that, he would have returned later after going to Sichuan province to catch those thieves who were trying to steal and sell megastones. The Magic City is from Sichuan province to western Tibet. It is very close to Gengui Liahe. But that's okay. De Huang, hurry up and make the square door bigger. I'm stuck, I just want to go through. Yang Yu, Yang Xiao, and Wu Yuqian all lost their minds when they saw Gengui Liahe crawling out of the mirror and getting stuck here. The little dream demon is dancing. Master, come on. There was even a sudden alarm inside the Super Holy Land that the ghost system was invading the Holy Land. As a result, the elder Su Nian hurried over with a large number of Holy Land monks. When he saw it, all of their faces turned black in an instant. What the hell, it's Gengui Liahe. Gee. Gengui Liahe helped his waist that was stuck just now, and looked at De Huang with a resentful look. When he started drawing the box, he couldn't have made it bigger. How did Lao Huidi know that Gengui and Lao He were growing fat so fast? If he didn't pay attention, he would gain weight again. Gee. Gengui Liahe sat down on the ground and reluctantly gave Larulus a thumbs up. Come on. Larulus held the super crystal in front of his chest and was moved, only deeply moved. There is so much beauty in this world. The super altar is ready. Get up in the morning and continue. I'm looking for a guaranteed monthly ticket, and I recommend a book, by the way. It will be on the shelves today. Oh, superstars start from Film and Television Academy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 601. Potala Palace, Super Altar. This is the most important sacrificial place in the superpower Holy Land, and it is also one of the areas with the strongest superpower aura. The natural bird, the evolved form of the natural finch, looks a bit like a green vulture, with a pair of long white wings. The wings are not raised, but are wrapped very calmly in front of the body, like a devout believer. 12 natural birds stood solemnly around the venue. Their eyes looked reverently towards the steps of the altar. On the steps, 2 natural birds acted as guardians on the left and right, slowly moving the sun rock and moon stone with super wool. Move to the altar. Sun rock absorbs the power from the sun's rays and is brighter than moon rock. Clang. The ringing of the bronze bell is the holy land of superpower, recording the record of this time gathering the heart of superpower skirt for Larulas. The ancient sacrificial sound slowly came from the steps. The sun's rays absorbed by the sun rock slowly ignited the super fire in the altar through the mysterious superpower. The purple-red flame slowly rose from the altar, and then, like fireworks, shot towards spreading out in all directions. The super fire fell on the steps of the altar, igniting the power of the sacrifice. In an instant, the circle surrounded by 12 natural birds was ignited. The flames dimmed little by little, as if integrated into the entire sacrificial site, leaving purple-red super energy traces on the ground, and beams of concentrated energy rising in the sacrificial site. Amitabha. In the Potala Palace, the elder bowed respectfully towards the superpower altar with one hand. Behind him, he led Yang Yu, Yang Xiao, and Wu Yuqian. Super altar. Yang Yu had once seen Xiao Tianran's parents and his tribe of natural birds perform the magic in the meteor forest, but it was never as complicated as the super holy land. Sun rock, moon rock. These 2 extremely rare rock and superpower elves are shaped like their names. The former is somewhat like the sun, and the latter is somewhat like the moon. Sun rock and moon rock communicate the natural power of the sun and moon respectively, are related to the craters in the elven world, and hold secrets related to the universe. Here, is the super altar that helps Larulas condense the heart. Yang Xiao didn't even dare to blink. After the series of processes just now, the mystery of superpowers deeply shocked her heart. I came to see the Potala Palace once before, but that time, it was not as big as it is now. Condensation super skirt heart, Lalulas, come on. Wu Yuqian looked at the situation and realized that condensation the skirt is not that simple. The super altar of 12 natural birds, each standing at the 12 o'clock position, is such a scale that it is enough to illustrate the difficulty of condensing the heart of the skirt. Larulas, if we look at the race value of the Elf Alliance, its race value is only 198 points. This is a very weak super elf. During the period of Larulas, they should be carefully cared for and protected. However, during this period when protection was most needed, the heart of the super skirt was broken. It's like a crystal ball that has been broken into hundreds of fragments. You can imagine the difficulty in trying to reunite it back to its original appearance. The gap in it, even a small fragment, cannot tolerate errors in position. To condense the core of the skirt, Larulas must readapt to the power of the skirt to see if it can fit perfectly. If there is an error during the cohesion, even if the cohesion is successful, there will still be problems that are difficult to repair for Lalula's future growth. Of sequelae. If you put it another way, maybe you can understand it more clearly. In fact, it's like heart surgery in human childhood. There is something very subtle about the number of 12 natural bird sacrifices. The gathered superpower is softer for Larulus, and there will be no shortage of energy, and it will not cause excessive energy. This is the best super environment provided by the super Holy Land to condense the heart of the Scourge. Hooty. Old Hu stretched out his fingertips and lightly brushed the little Tian Ran's chin. He pointed the other hand at the natural bird altar, signaling the little guy to watch and learn carefully. Choo choo choo. Xiao Tian Ran nodded vigorously in his arms. You must listen to master's words, read and study hard, and become a good helper to your parents and a pillar of society in the future. Lao Huidi stroked his long beard and shook his head with satisfaction. His left hand slowly drew a beautiful arc from bottom to top. At the same time, a super powerful spoon lit up behind his back and flew into Lao Huidi's hand. Under the reverent gazes of almost all the superpower elves in the Padala Palace, Lao Huidi came directly above the altar that condensed superpower skirts for Larulus, surrounded by 12 natural birds. Enchantment, Starfall. With Lao Hu's super spoon as the center, the superpower spread out in all directions, towards the falling purple light spots all around, like a meteor waterfall. Yang Yu was extremely excited. This scene again. The moment Lao Huidi completed his super evolution above the meteor lake, the entire sky turned into scattered meteors under the power of his superpower, pouring down like a waterfall. Now, meteor falls once again appeared in front of Yang Yu. This feeling, an extremely reassuring feeling, was what Lao Huidi brought. This is how Lao Huidi helped Larulus. A superpower inheritance. With just a few gestures, superpowers can take on such unpredictable forms. Is this the power after super evolution? At this moment, Wu Yuqian no longer knew how to express his inner thoughts, and could only use the word shock. It can be said. Super Lord Hu Di has superpower, communicates between heaven and earth, directs mountains and rivers, and makes stars fall over waterfalls. The elder Su Nian sighed deeply. Being able to see this and take action is worth it. G. Gengui Lao He smashed his mouth. De Wang is now powerful again, and he is worthy of being the Hu Land that Lao He values. However, that round ghost stone that seems to be still sleeping, Gengui Lao He also feels a little interesting. A life force from the same source, although it is nothing to him, Lao He, but it appears in the ghost. With stone, this is very different. Maybe you can give me some pointers. Gengui's black eyes rolled around, and a small black ball quietly popped out from his fingertips. The moment the small ball came into contact with Ghost Stone, it slowly merged with Ghost Stone's ghost body. It seems that, vaguely, Ghost Stone has grown in size again. Gengi Lao coughed lightly in the dark. Do not mind the details. If you don't grow big, how can you have enough physical strength to share the pain? Naturally, no one noticed Gengui Lao He's little moves, except Lao Huidi, but Lao Huidi did not deliberately stop him. Lao Huidi's pair of deep eyes, which seemed to be able to see through the future, slowly began to close and he fell into meditation. Two donors Yang, it's time to start, the elder said in a virtual voice. At this moment, Larulus slowly left Yang Xiao's arms and walked step by step towards the super altar. Nervous, anxious. At the same time, there is also excitement and anticipation. Poppy. Mum. The cheerleading team composed of Little Dream Demon, Tijipai, and Mini Dragon encouraged Larulus. That big floating black ball, even though Ghost Stone was still sleeping, was still following Larulus, floating forward bit by bit. Ghost elves are prohibited from entering the super altar. Ghost elves are prohibited from entering the super altar. The elder's warning sound resounded outside the altar. G. Gengui Lao He curled his lips in disdain, his white eyes instantly turned scarlet. He also warned Elder Su Nian not to say these things in front of his Gen ghost, Lao He. For a moment, the scene seemed to be tense. Who did dash? Lao Huidi's voice soothed the irritable atmosphere in the air. Gengui's black and red pupils receded. The elder thought in vain, still neither humble nor arrogant, but his tone was a little softer because of the super who de venerable. Don't embarrass the old monk. The atmosphere slowly calmed down again. Yang Yu and the other three were silent for a moment. At this moment, Larulus immediately stopped, and the black ball ghost stone following behind him also stopped. LaRue. Larulus carefully stretched out his small hands, stood on tiptoes, and gently hugged the black ball in the air, the ghost stone that was still sleeping. The toes are slightly raised. The kiss was like a dragonfly touching water, like an electric shock, touching ghost stone's face instantly. Kick, 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 kick. Larulus' face was slightly red, his eyes were firm, and he ran quickly towards the super altar. Ghost stone. From now on, you are my darling. Wait me back. Super altar, spiritual energy activation, energy gathering. It's not too much to ask for a monthly pass. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 602. The entire super altar, from the super place rendered by flames, slowly rises into the sky with purple super light. Energy is gathering. When Larulus entered the super space, some looked like he was in the clouds, and some looked like he was in the water. The soft superpower around him slowly held Larulus up and rose steadily from the ground. Stopped in mid-air. Lalu. Larulus stretched out his left hand, and there was a hint of curiosity in the nervous and firm eyes under the green hair. Superpower, like gurgling water, flows from its fingertips, from low to high, flowing slowly. Larulus, Yang Xiao looked at Lalulus in the field with amazement. Under the flash of superpower, his body began to emit a light purple gold light. It can't hear it right now. Elder Su Nian bowed slightly, condensing the heart of the super skirt, in the super altar surrounded by 12 natural birds, will isolate external sounds and condense the heart of the skirt. It could be a long process. Brother, have you seen it? Larulus just kissed Ghost Stone. Yang Xiao still ignored the words of the elder of the Potala Palace. He only felt that he was so excited and excited. There were some words that he wanted to say in a lower voice. Neither can be done. What a surprise! Yang Xiao was jumping around outside the altar, thinking about Lalulus and Gaisai, as if he had started taking CP, and his face was a little red. Yang Yu and Wu Yuqin looked at each other with a wry smile. This feeling. Especially Wu Yuqin, who came from his own prairie and was stuffed with another mouthful of dog food. But this taste, so delicious. I hope Larulus will be well and come out soon after gathering the heart of the super skirt. Ghost Stone hasn't woken up yet, and Lalurus has kissed it. I hope that when Ghost Stone wakes up, he can see Lalurus who is in good health and fully recovered. Yang Xiao said sweetly in her heart, yes, full of expectations. Yang Yu nodded in agreement. Yes, Yang Yu didn't expect that Ghost Stone was really true. Now, he still waits for Lalulus to gather his skirt and return, and it won't be too late to talk about it then. Jengar Lahe had a smile on his face, and he became more and more satisfied with the round Ghost Stone. Thinking back to those Jengar brothers or Ghost Stone brothers in his super tower, he really wanted to beat them. Pause. Look at the Ghost Stone, and then look at you. Everyone knows how to play games. Jengar Laohe is also worried. The younger Jengars in the Ghost Tower always lead the children into mischief. Even the ghosts have learned to date online. These days, I really don't know if the person I'm dating online is a human being or a ghost. It's so scary, so scary. Having said that, I don't know what Ghost Stone's current situation is. The superpower in the altar circles around, somewhat like the water-based move liquid circle. However, although the effect is not a recovery effect, it can make Larulus state more and more suitable for condensing the super skirt heart. Waves of super energy brushed the surface of Larula's body again and again, and at the same time, drove Larulus to slowly rotate in mid-air. This speed is not fast. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. In the field composed of 12 natural birds, 3 straight purple hands appeared. This time is not the real time, but records the time when the sacrificial altar is opened. The rotation speed of Larulus is similar to the rotation speed of the second hand. If Larulus's skirt is like Gardevoir's long skirt, the rotation at this moment is like a fairy descending to earth. However, Larula's small dress is like a little princess in a fairy tale, and the sweet smile on her lips is particularly beautiful. The little dream demon clasped her hands on her chest, her eyes flashing, her big eyes seemed to be thinking of something, her big head slowly lowered, looking at her hands and Geo, and pursed her lips. It will also wear a princess dress from now on. Time passed by minute by second, even though Yang Yu knew that gathering the heart of the skirt was not something that could be achieved overnight, but the feeling of waiting like this did make people feel a little anxious. Now it seems that the superpower in the altar is still regulating Larula's physical condition. After drinking some moo milk before, Larulus maintained his physical strength very well, but with these superpowers moisturizing it will also help mentally, Wu Yuqian said softly. Yang Yu nodded, this is a very long-lasting battle. Recalling every bit of the journey from western Sichuan to the Padala Palace, Yang Yu admired Larulus from the bottom of his heart. Although Larulus has not yet evolved, he is still Larulus, but with such perseverance, even a high-level or elite-level elf would feel ashamed of hurting himself. The flow rate of superpowers has begun to increase, Wu Yuqian said in a deep voice. With Lao Huidi around, Yang Yu didn't feel particularly worried, but he still felt nervous as he kept staring at Larulus rising above the altar. At this moment, the rising purple superpower around Larulus gradually began to speed up. One superpower after another was no longer as gentle as the gurgling water before. Larula's state of condensing the skirt has been adjusted to the best. Whether it is physical strength or mental strength, both are the most important foundation for perfect condensation of the skirt. The second wave of flowing superpower gradually resembled the stream formed by the gurgling water before. While washing over Larula's body, it tested the endurance of Larula's body. Everything is done step by step in the most secure manner. Everything is for the most critical moment when the skirt is formed. Lao Huidi, who senses all superpowers, calmly controls the intensity of the superpowers in the sacrifice. His protection is to allow Larulus to return safely. Regardless of whether gathering the heart of the skirt succeeds or fails in the end, Larulus will definitely be fine. This is the maximum effort that Lao Huidi can do. Everything else is up to Larulus himself. On the steps of the altar, the sun rock, which condenses the power of the sun, gradually begins to weaken as the sun sets, while the moonstone around it gradually turns from gray to bright. The alternation of the sun and the moon is also the alternation of energy between the sun rock and the moonstone. From the light of the sun, which is as hot as fire, to the light of the moon, which is as cool as water, it couldn't be better for Larulus, who has both the superpower system and the fairy system. The light of the sun turns into superpower. The light of the moon turns into the power of the fairies. The heart of the super skirt is bright because of the superpower, and seductive because of the fairy. Sunset, early month. When the sun and moon alternate, it's the moment when the heart of the skirt condenses. Sun. The mountain is setting. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 603. Padala Palace. The sky is getting dark. The sunset at the Padala Palace is so beautiful, look, the sun seems to have lit up the mountains over there. The fiery red afterglow is so beautiful. Come on, let's take a photo together. The elves also come over, line up, that shuttlecock is here, don't block other people's eyes. Long Stone, please put your hands away a little, don't open your eyes so open, Yes, yes, that's it. 3 2 1, shout with me dash. Eggplant. Click. Tourists visiting the Potala Palace in western Tibet had happy smiles on their faces. Both adults and children seemed to be covered with a layer of fiery red clouds under this extremely beautiful sunset. Outside the Potala Palace, it is full of laughter and laughter. The tourists here do not know that deep inside the Potala Palace, in the super altar that is not allowed to tourists, the atmosphere here is not too relaxed. Still a little dignified. No one dared to relax before Larula succeeded in condensing the heart of the super skirt. Gengui Liahe simply sat down on the ground, ignoring the shocked and angry look in Elder Su Nian's eyes. The rules in the Potala Palace had strong control over other ghost elves, but Gengui Liahe had nothing to do with him. Effect. However, Gengui Liahe is not willing to touch the bottom line of the super holy land. After all, if Gengui Liahe gets into trouble, it will not be good for the ghost tower, especially the three current tower owners of the ghost tower, Geng Liahe. There's nothing else, except that when the time comes for the three Geng brothers to control Gengui Liahe's food, it won't be fun. Gengui Liahe doesn't want to eat only 3 meals a day, and he can't even drink Fiazai happy water. If there are no potato chips, no fried chicken, and no fatty happy water, then what's the point of living? Anyway, as long as Gengui Liahe doesn't touch the bottom line of the super holy land. So, Gengui Liahe stretched out his hand, as if he wanted to reach into the super altar. Elder Su Nian's eyes almost popped out. However, Jengar Laohe was just a little bit close. If he hadn't been too fat and his hands were too short, he seemed to have really reached into the territory of the super altar. GGG. Gengui Liahe showed off his short hands and laughed in the direction of the elder's empty thoughts. Who says there are no benefits to eating too much and gaining weight? It's still very beneficial. Gengui Liahe used his short hand to tease the elder Su Nian's nerves. He immediately reached in, but he couldn't reach the side of the super altar. Look at the elder Su Nian's a face that looks like smoke from anger. GGG. How dare you, a bald ass, offend this Jengar, Laohe? Maybe, Gengui Liahe knew elder Su Nian's 18th generation ancestor, and maybe even in that era, Gengui Liahe and that person were brothers or something. This is the great thing about ghost elves, their lifespan is not ordinary long. Amidba. The elder Su Nian closed his eyes and began to recite the sutra silently. Out of sight is pure, out of sight is pure. Damn ghost elf. I really wish I could sing the great compassion mantra to directly transcend it. Gengui Liahe stopped what he was doing when he saw that the elder had closed his eyes and recited the scripture silently. Really boring. The cheerleaders of Little Dream Demon, Tijapai and Mini Dragon have now stopped. Next to Yang Yu, they are simply eating energy cubes and quickly replenishing their physical strength. Superpower is indeed the most magical power in the elf world. Wu Yuqian kept looking at the superpower altar. Looking at the changes in it, he couldn't help but sigh. Just as he was about to look in the direction of Yang Yu, he felt something on his left shoulder. There was something extra on the screen, and the moment I turned my head, it appeared. A giant green bird head. Choo choo choo. Hey, hey, natural bird, why are you suddenly on my shoulder? Do you want to eat something? Wu Yuqian suddenly trembled and was startled. Anyone who suddenly has such a natural bird with eyes staring straight at him on his shoulder will be startled, because, it is too close. Will be cute to death. Although Xiaotian Rande was in Dude's arms, he also noticed that Wu Yuqian exuded a very unique smell that attracted him. Well, it is the aura of a flying spirit and a bird spirit. The cool kind. Choo choo choo. When Wu Yuqian was lamenting the magic of his superpowers, this natural bird jumped onto Wu Yuqian's shoulder with great approval and nodded vigorously. At that time, Wu Yuqian turned his head. Big eyes stared at small ones. I have an ominous premonition Wu Yuqian's eyes were fixed on this natural bird, and suddenly he seemed to think of something, and he quickly started to shake his head. Impossible, impossible. Absolutely impossible. What kind of ominous premonition? Yang Yu didn't react at first. At first, Yang Yu thought that senior brother Jian was talking about the situation at Larula's. When he turned around, he saw that it was the little natural idiot. Is there anything between senior brother Jian and Xiao Tiande that would make him feel an ominous premonition? Yang Yu blinked. Hiss. Wait, how did senior brother Jian meet Kentaro from the milk tank? How do Geranium and Tropical Dragon know each other? To be honest, Xiao Tian is stupid, he is still just a child. Has it become popular now? Yang Xiao tilted her head, a little confused as to what brother Yang Yu and brother Wu Yuqian were talking about. She kept staring at Lawless on the altar. As the light of the sun in the sky became darker and darker, it became brighter and darker. Dark, and the moon's light gradually rises. Super altar, super power, ever changing. The most critical moment to unite the heart of the skirt. The sun and the moon shine together, the elder Su Nian's closed eyes suddenly opened. All the previous superpowers were condensed for this moment, for when the sun and moon alternate, the fairy power in the moonlight is released and merged with the superpower. Lalu. Larula's, who was slowly spinning in the air like a goddess flying, was covered with a layer of fairy-type light pink light, and the thick purple light. At this point, it began to condense rapidly. We must succeed. Yang Yu and Wu Yuqian clenched their fists almost at the same time. The two of them stopped joking with each other first. The little boy on Wu Yuqian's shoulder was dumbfounded, his eyes wide open, and he remembered the scene of the altar in front of him bit by bit in his mind. So beautiful. The stars are bright, and at this moment, they complement the moonlight. Hooty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 spoons behind Lao Huidi all light up. The increasingly powerful superpowers and fairy powers gathered together to form a huge energy sphere. Compression. Compress quickly. After being compressed, this extremely powerful and unstable mixed energy will be condensed and compressed into the final perfect skirt within Larula's body. Severe pain like tearing wreaked havoc all over Larula's body instantly. This unstable and powerful energy, even if it was guided and controlled by Lao Huidi before it was integrated into Larula's body, was still unbearable for Larula's. Still can't stand it? Laru. Larula's opened his eyes in pain and bit his lip. However, the magnitude of this mixed energy of superpower and goblin was far beyond his imagination. Just before he fainted from the pain, in the depths of Larula's mind, there was a call that throbbed at the level of life. If Larula's has not lost her skirt. With Yang Xiao's hard work and Gaisai's sparring training in all weathers, Larula's can evolve early at this moment. Evolve into Chirolian. But without the super skirt, Larula's, no matter how powerful it is still Larula's, and can only evolve into Chirolian at that critical point. So close, but unable to take that step. Losing the super skirt blocked the possibility of Larula's evolution. Now, the light of evolution of Larula's has begun to shine. However, Chirolian's evolved form still cannot withstand such powerful superpowers and fairy power. Only Gardevoir. Lalu. Larula's, with 2 lines of painful tears streaming from the corners of his eyes, made his final choice in a hysterical voice. Larula's, stop, what are you doing? Mr. Who did, what's wrong with Larula's? Stop it. Yang Xiao's heart suddenly twitched, and he looked blankly at Larula's in the field. Rulus. The shadow that appeared in the light of evolution at that moment. If it were Chirolian, Yang Xiao might be a little happy, but, what is that? That's Gardevoir. Evolution beyond the level. What does that mean? The teacher in the elf class kept telling that if an elf attempts to forcibly evolve beyond a certain level, the only thing it will face is death. This is the most basic common sense of the real world of elves. At this moment, Yang Xiao's heart suddenly felt like he was about to lose something. Larulus, the heartbreaking voice in the venue penetrated the super barrier and made Yang Xiao completely stunned. Evolve beyond the next level. Elder Su Nian looked startled. Lalu. Silicon hiss. A black figure rushed towards the super altar in an instant. Ghost Stone finally woke up from his deep sleep, and his eyes seemed to be burning with scarlet blood. Super altar, ghost elves? The elder was about to speak, but when he raised his head, he found that he had fallen into an endless darkness. Ghost Tower Jengar Lauhe. Let the poor monk out? Aren't you afraid that the super holy land is the enemy of the ghost tower? Gengui Lauhe looked at Ghost Stone rushing towards the super altar, his eyes were also red. At this moment, there are no rules in the world. The advent of what love is? Direct teachings promise life and death. Even if it is a super holy land, so what? I, Gengui, Lauhe, live my life, so why do I need to say so much? Just carry it. Larulus. I will use my body to share your pain. With my life, I will share this life with you. Life, contract. Above the sky, the moon that had just risen was instantly covered by black mist, and the twinkling stars gradually disappeared into the sky. Sunset doesn't just mean moonrise. The ghosts in the dark night are also beginning to move around. Darkness is coming. The super holy land, the Padala Palace, fell into an emergency defensive posture for an instant. The contract of life, the breath of the reverse world seems to be getting heavier and heavier, the Nether Dragon King on the other side of the world. In a clean little room in the Padala Palace, an old monk opened his eyes, shook his head, as if talking to himself, and then slowly fell into concentration again. This time, even if we make an exception. Asking for a monthly ticket. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 604. Xiao Yu, don't be anxious. Believe in Lao Huidi. Don't forget that Lao Huidi is a superpower who can predict the future. He has elf strength that exceeds the king level. Believe in Larulus and Ghost Stone. Believe in Lao Huidi. Yang Yu immediately stretched out his hand to support Yang Xiao. Brother, this is a step-up evolution. Yang Xiao still didn't feel relieved. Xiao Yu. Just because this is a step-by-step evolution, Ghost Stone is sharing the pain for Larulus. Yang Yu finally understood at this moment. Why did Ghost Stone sleep for so long? Why did little Reggie Locke say that there were some things that Ghost Stone needed to explain in person? What is happening in front of you is the best explanation. Ghost Stone sleep is definitely not that simple, and behind all of this is to understand a magical skill called Share the Pain. At this moment, in addition to the deep purple super light, the pink fairy light, and a purple-black ghost light, a little ghost energy condensed from the completely darkened sky, with the Ghost Stone's black hole-like sphere as the bridge, like the sun rock and the moon rock, faces the direction of Larulus, gathering the power of ghosts. This ghost power is mixed with Ghost Stone's understanding of life energy. Under the life contract, a steady stream of vitality flows from the Ghost Stone to Lalulus's body quickly, and Lalu lost the pain Lars suffered. It was transferred to Ghost Stone's whole body. Silicon hiss. A ball of Ghost Stone that seemed to be burning with black flames was now level with the white body of Lalulus in the air. The Ghost Stone's two fat round hands caught, Lalulus tears dripping from the corners of C's eyes due to pain. How did you come? With a trembling voice, Larulus tried to raise his hand very fragilely, but he didn't have the strength to do so. I am here to share your pain. Ghost Stone's eyes were red. The ghost power formed a bridge between the two people. Through this bridge, the hysterical pain quickly raged in Ghost Stone's body. This pain caused the deep pain in Ghost Stone's body. The black color is slightly lighter. Why are you so stupid? Larula slowly closed his eyes, and the light of evolution on his body was still flickering. However, its current life force has reached its lowest point. For it, there is no way to try to evolve, let alone talk about more dangerous leapfrog evolution. At this moment, Ghost Stone gently took Larulus's hand, but this time he didn't slap him in the face like the previous time, but gently pressed it against his big face. Just beat me for the rest of my life. This time, Ghost Stone won't let go. Just when Yang Yu, Yang Xiao, Wu Yuqian, and others all held their breaths and dared not even take a breath, the light of evolution on Larula's became bright again. No. This light of evolution. It's from Ghost Stone. The brightness of the light of evolution that lights up on Ghost Stone is directly integrated with the light of evolution of Larula's because of Ghost Stone's huge spherical shape. This time, Ghost Stone will guide Larula's transcendent evolution. Life contract. Share the pain. Larula's current condition has gradually recovered due to the gathering of Ghost Stone's life energy. However, Ghost Stone is suffering more and more pain. The thick black color on his body is due to the signing of the life contract. The transmitted life energy began to become shallower and shallower bit by bit. No matter how much pain there is, Ghost Stone will not be afraid. It has a huge ghost-type body, and this huge ghost-type body has a recovery ability that is beyond the capabilities of ordinary ghost-type elves. Because I have been beaten all the time. And all they received were slaps in the face from superpowers without standing effects. I have to be beaten several times a day. I get beaten today, but tomorrow I am back to being as alive and kicking as ever. I continue to accept the beatings, and my recovery ability gradually improves in such an environment. Yang Yu, did I read it correctly just now? Is the dark black color on Ghost Stone's body getting lighter? Also, is the white color on Larula's body getting darker? Wu Yuqian quickly patted Yang Yu's arm, fearing that his eyes were really not working well. This must be an illusion. How is this possible? It must be an illusion. White ghost. Yang Yu muttered. If Ghost Stone completes its evolution, it will look like the Flash Jengar in Yang Yu's memory. White Jengar is definitely the shining color beloved by countless trainers. There is only one word, handsome. In the real world of elves, Yang Yu never thought that he might witness the birth of a white Jengar. And it's not that he was born with a different color, but the color changed due to the bond with the elves. It seems so beautiful. Yang Yu's heart moved. When great beauty evolves, because of the bright red scales dropped by the salted fish king, the appearance formed during the evolution is also the state of the shining elf. This state will only appear when the great beauty is full of anger, but at ordinary times, it is the same as the salted fish king, and it is also a normal color. Yeah. Datu subconsciously touched his golden conch cap. His eyes could clearly see that for just a moment, white color appeared. White, ghost. An interesting picture quickly appeared in Day's mind. If a white ghost stone floats on the white walls of your home, wouldn't it be equivalent to becoming invisible? Under the dull golden conch cap, little Reggie Locke's voice sighed, bang 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 bang, share the pain, the life contract, the white ghost appears in the world, the elf world is such love and being loved, but having said that, the white Jengar does look more handsome than the black Jengar. The light of evolution is still shining. The almost stable state of the altar made Yang Xiao feel a little calmer, but when he thought of his Larulas, who could really evolve into Gardevoir, and Ghost Stone who was about to evolve into Jengar. For a moment, Yang Xiao's eyes felt dizzy. My head is also in a mess. Yang Xiao is only in the second year of high school. Very scary. In the Super Holy Land, more and more monks began to gather around the altar, but they all respectfully stayed outside. Because the leader said, just let them watch with their eyes wide open. Although he converted to the gate of the Holy Land, he could not escape the word love when accompanying the elves. Asking what love is in the world can teach you how to make love between life and death. The three rays of light, the superpower light, the fairy light, and the ghost light, stood like a tripod, and finally slowly condensed to form a perfect skirt with three states of nobility, coquettishness, and mystery coexisting. At this moment, the light of evolution shines brightly again. Probably, like a transformation like Sailor Moon. Transformation with the power of the moon prism. Super skirt, transform. Larulus's short skirt, baptized by the light of evolution, was like an elegant dance evening gown floating in the air. The original short green hair gradually began to grow, and the curving and slender hair extended to the back. The back, chest, and back each have a fin-shaped horn that was originally the head. The most incredible thing is that the gardevoir that Larulus evolved into at this time is not wearing an ordinary white dance evening dress. This long dress has a mysterious color like the dark night, with dots of starlight, shining like diamonds and stars. Shine. The Gothic long skirt has a ghostly atmosphere. At this moment, gardevoir feels like a mysterious Gothic lady. If one day, such a ghostly Gothic lady gardevoir super evolves, the Gothic queen will come in person. As for Ghoststone's evolution. Incredible. That ball actually grew chubby feet and two pointed and round ears. More importantly, he is fatter than before. Even so, at this moment, Jengar was holding the hand of the Gothic lady gardevoir in a very gentlemanly manner, while still being silly and happy. Bonds evolve. Gothic lady gardevoir. Jengar, the white ghost gentleman. Come. I've long wanted to write a Gothic gardevoir. It's not too much to ask for a monthly pass for this idea, please vote. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 605. In the dark and silent night sky. Potala Palace, this super holy place. An extremely bright light of evolution shot up into the sky and instantly injected into the boundless night. The entire night was illuminated in an instant. This pillar of light did not last long, just when the entire sky seemed to be slowly dimming again. The condensed light pillars exploded like huge fireworks in the night. At this moment, the night seemed to be illuminated by light instantly. Like a romantic meteor shower, it fell. Look, look. What happened over there at the Potala Palace? Why did the sky suddenly get brighter just now? What's going on? Master, Master, stop the car and let us take a look at the Potala Palace. Let us take a photo. Wow, this is so beautiful. Quick, quick, stop the car, the Potala Palace, does it have such big fireworks? On the road leaving the Potala Palace, a car slowly stopped. Opening the car door, many tourists ran out of the car excitedly, holding cameras in their hands, constantly taking pictures and recording this beautiful moment in the summer night. Amazing. Dad, are there a wedding in the palace? There are such beautiful fireworks. When I get married in the future, I also want such big fireworks. Okay, 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 when you grow up, there will be such big fireworks. A 5 or 6-year-old girl who grew up in a snowy area looked in the direction of the Potala Palace and made a big wish. Larulus, it's put on a long dress at night. Oh my God, brother, I saw that right? It's so beautiful, ah. Lalulus, it really evolved into gardevoir. Yet. Outside the altar of the Potala Palace, Yang Xiao felt that everything happening in front of him was so dreamy, as if he was dreaming. It's like a wedding in a dream. As a girl, who wouldn't dream about the beautiful world in fairy tales, and imagine that she is the princess on the phone, and that one day in the future, she will wear a long princess dress that she has always dreamed of? Larulus's transcendent evolution satisfies all girls' fantasies. Larulus. No. Now, She has evolved into Gardevoir. Still so unique, the only gothic lady Gardevoir in the world wearing a black evening dress. Yang Xiao thought. Yang Xiao thought Lolulus would. No. Don't think about it, you shouldn't think about that. Larulus has now successfully evolved, and this is a moment that should be filled with joy. Choo choo choo. Wu Yuqian suddenly discovered that there was a natural bird with a big head on his shoulder. Tears of emotion flowed from its big eyes, and 2 lines of tears flowed onto Wu Yuqian's short-sleeved shirt. It's unbelievable, this line of work really makes my brain a little exhausted. Wu Yuqian wanted to cry and laugh at the same time, but in the end, he remained silent in this damn sweetness. Wei died again. Wu Yuqian stretched out the index finger of his right hand, made a hook shape, and gently caressed the little natural bird's head. The natural bird rolled down from his shoulders comfortably. Fortunately, Wu Yuqian stretched out his hand to catch it, but Wu Yuqian's palms were still wet with the tears of this little natural bird. Amitba. Su Nian, the elder of the Super Holy Land, looked at the sky and slowly rotated down. Even the sky in the elf world was cheering for the new couple. How difficult is it to understand the word love? It's just a poor monk who is reckless. The elder thought silently. This ghost-type elf that broke into the super altar taught a lesson to the eminent monks in the Super Holy Land. Any complaints? The rules of the elven world are broken when they are broken. Gggg. A burst of scary laughter sounded in the sky. Yang Yu felt like he was getting goosebumps all over his body. After hearing this, he even wanted to hit someone, oh no, wanted to beat up a ghost. Ghost Stone shared the pain for Larulus and signed a life contract at the same time. The continuous life force was taken away from Ghost Stone's body and was instead provided to Larulus. The color of the ghost on his body also gradually began to fade. It was this power of pain that also inspired the evolutionary power in Ghost Stone's body. At this moment, for Ghost Stone, is there anything more joyful than the successful rescue of Larulus? Don't expect a Jengar to smile well. Even though this is a white ghost gentleman who looks extremely handsome on the outside, as soon as this laughter comes out, it should be eerie, but it is still eerie, and it should be terrifying, it is still terrifying. This type of elf, whether it is the original ghost, the evolved ghost, or the Jengar that the ghost has evolved into, all have such terrifying sounds. But if one day, this kind of elves laugh out loud like the little dream demon, then it will really make ghosts feel sad and give them a headache. Gggg. Gggg. The entire Super Holy Land should have a quiet and peaceful atmosphere with superpowers, but now, ghost-like laughter has actually started to sound. Do you think you have really seen a ghost? That's the problem. Logically speaking, at this extremely exciting moment, Yang Yu and the others should be extremely happy and cheering for Gardevoir and Jengar, but now when the white ghost gentleman Gengui laughs like this, it seems that the atmosphere of the entire venue has changed. Getting weird? He he he, he he he. Yang Yuzhen didn't know how to laugh at this moment. His voice sounded like a beeping dog. Can it make people smile happily? Gggg. Gengui Liahe doesn't care about this. Instead, he feels that the current atmosphere is just right. If he were in his old haunt, the ghost tower, it would definitely be a feast for all ghosts. Elder Su thought that this was the most uncomfortable moment. Really, since he entered the Super Holy Land, he had never felt as uncomfortable as crying now. This Gengui's laughter. After hearing this, I really wanted to magnify the sad mantra to save myself. Not to mention, where is this place? It is a super holy land, a super altar in a super holy land. Now, there is actually a ghost elf. Laughing wildly here? You don't even care about the super holy land. But this time is an exception. The poor monk felt really uncomfortable. Gardevoir, whose skirt has been perfectly condensed, has regained all of her super senses. In fact, because some ghost power is still condensed in her skirt, Gardevoir's perception has once again improved to a huge level. Gardevoir clearly sensed that around the altar, in addition to the white Jengar beside her, there was also the ghost king Jengar Lahe laughing. Even she and Jengar's master Yang Xiao seemed a little unable to stand such a scary and sinister smile. Voice. Sana. Gardevoir gently reached out and pushed Jengar's round white belly. Jengar stopped his scary laughter for a moment and blinked. Gardevoir motioned to the people around him. Laugh a little louder. Gg. Jengar nodded obediently. Although its size is not as huge as Jengar Lahe, compared with Gardevoir. This is not a gentleman. All that is a gentleman is a lie in fairy tales. The real identity behind Jengar, the white ghost gentleman, is actually like a fat nerd. G. Jengar's laughter was controlled very softly at first, but when he thought of the hands he and Gardevoir were holding, and then recalled that earlier, when Larulus had not entered the super altar, at that time, when he was still Ghost Stone. That sweet, stolen kiss from Larulus. Gg. Jengar's voice began to let loose again. Even his eyes started to become a little crooked. He is laughing. Yang Yu and Yang Xiao couldn't bear it any longer. Snapped. A crisp sound sounded in the altar. Still so familiar, still the same taste. Jengar burst into tears. It's really great. Jengar instantly used his other hand to pull up Gardevoir's right hand that had just slapped him on the back, and then put it on the left side of his face. This moment, Jengar is possessed like a domineering president. Gothic Lady Gardevoir and White Ghost Gentleman Jengar, from holding hands side by side to facing each other. Gardevoir's face suddenly turned red with embarrassment. Promise me you won't hit me on the back in the future, but only on the face, okay? Jengar knelt down on one knee, took Gardevoir's habitual right hand, and kissed him deeply. Yang Yu. Wu Yuqian. The elder thought. A group of monks. Yang Xiao. Perfect. Why don't you vote yet?